Greetings and salutations. My name is JW608. Today I am playing with Stable Diffusion. Right now, this is a local installation of Stable Diffusion by Automatic 1111. It was not hard to get up and running. I'm not going to go through installation today, but I will leave a link if I remember for some good videos, or just Google local Stable Diffusion installation if you wanna try that. What is Stable Diffusion, I hear you ask? It's a AI art thingy, well, an art generator. You put in text or images, in this case text, with positive and negative prompts, and you do some stuff, and it spits out an image. Now, I was playing with this online, but they're wanting to charge me for these things, like tokens and only so many, and it was slow. And I thought, I have this nifty graphics card. Now, it's nothing super special. It's super special to me, and I love it. I'm running a 2070 Super, uh, and I thought, I bet I could do that. So I looked it up and got a local installation. So this is a prompt I found that kind of works. Beautiful artwork, well, my subject. Beautiful artwork, photograph, highly detailed, sharp focus, 8K, 4K, hyper realism, micro details, colorful portrait. Well, I don't really want a portrait because we're going to do a spaceship. F/2.8, that has to do with f-stops for photography. Beautiful environment, portfolio piece, fantastic location, and all these other light words. And to be brutally honest, I stole this off Reddit. And I stole this one too. These are the negative ones, like blurry, extra limbs, out of frame, not safe for work, poorly drawn hands, things like that. So we're using the Protogen V22 Anime 22 Safe Tensor. Well, Safe Tensor is a file type. I found that I've gotten my best results with this model. And let's just generate, see what happens. Take steps. Only you can do one of them, and it's going to be a 512 by 512, and using the Euler A sampling method. Ooh, here we go. Come on, one more. And that is a spaceship with a volumetric lighting. Oh, isn't that cool? In fact, let's do a couple of them. Let's do 4 of them. I have this turned down. We could crank up the CFG scale, and that gives the software a little more freedom to do what it wants. Now, as I understand how this is generating it, is that the model has been trained on a whole bunch of pictures, and it says, this is a picture of a cat. This is a picture of a cat. This is a picture of Hulk Hogan, and it does a bajillion of them. And then, when we click generate, it makes noise. And the computer tries to take the prompt and it tries to find it in the noise. So basically, it's like us trying to find shapes in clouds, but the computer's trying to find predetermined shapes in random noise. And that's what this seed down here for. It's for generating the noise, if I'm not mistaken. That's probably oversimplified, and I don't fully understand how it works, but there we go. We got some spaceships. That's kind of cool. Roundish. That one is a little too round. That one looks like my last entry from the Star Made racing uh, contest. That is a camera lens. I never really thought about using a camera lens as a thruster or a spaceship. That is distinctly, that's the switch for automatic focus. They got the distinct rings. Oh, that's kind of cool. F-stops. When it put the f-stop, it looked for a camera. Oh, that's neat. And so let's just take all that out. I like to leave the negative prompts. Let's just tell it spaceship. Draw me 4 spaceships. Okay. Looks like a top. There we go. That's more of a spaceship I was thinking of. Ooh, like a old 50s rocket. And when it's generating, it doesn't give you the final, just what it's working on next. There we go. Okay, those aren't too bad. But we could probably do better. Let's do a vector art. Vector art. I found I like vector art. It gives nice clean lines. What did you just do? I highlighted that word, held down control, and pressed up a couple times. Then it's going to give this more weight. So it's going to try to make a vector art spaceship. Let's see what that does. You know, vector art. It's art made from vectors. Yeah, like that. Come on, make a couple of them. And I've been dragging them into Inkscape and playing with them. The vector art anyway. And that's been fun. That kind of looks like a space squid. What do the other ones look like? All right, that's a more traditional rocket-looking thing. That has pulled in some watermarks. So somebody trained this one on something they probably shouldn't have. Looks like a robot. Yeah. All right, so let's see. What was our cool one? And you can save stuff. We're gonna call that beautiful one. We're gonna pull that in, except that has pulled in too much stuff. And let's grab -3. Those are just things I've saved them as. Let's not do a spaceship or vector art, but instead, I want more control. So we're gonna, well, I'm gonna give it more control to make whatever it thinks is gonna be right. And we're gonna give it more sampling steps. We're gonna go with 40. Now there's this extension called ControlNet. And now this is neat. This gives me more control over the chaos, if you will. So what I've done is I go to, or what I do, what I play with, I go to pexels.com. It has free stock photography. And I'm just gonna drag one of them in here, this man holding a dog. This is by um, Alina Lekovic. Oh wow, 13 million or 13.7 million people have viewed this. Hmm. All right, anyway, it's a man holding a dog. Let's enable this control model. You can get through the extensions, you can install extra stuff. There's already tutorials on how to do it better than I can tell you to do. We're gonna do that one. And let's do this a canny, and let's drop the control weight. And I'll show you what canny does. Canny is gonna try to keep this image, but change it to what we tell. So we're gonna say man, not man, holding dog. Now it's going to take 40 steps. The others did, these took each 20 steps. The next one, oh, stop that. Ah, there we go. And see, it's trying to keep the same composition. Well, it's using edge detection, basically, Canny does. See, it took edge detection and drew some edges and say, hey, this is my constraint. And it drew a man holding a dog. A very different dog. Let's see here. Holding a dinosaur. Let's see what it does with this. Man holding a dinosaur with all the fancy stuff. The same man. And he's holding a, it looks more like a dragon, but a, let's turn the dog into a cat. And it saves these. I am saving them. It saves them in an output folder. There, and it changed the dog into a cat. Kind of. All right, let's try a robot holding a dog. Let's see if we can change the man into a robot, or if it's gonna make that the robot and that the dog. Hmm. That's the sometimes with the canny thing, it it has too much. Says it says that's a man. There's another a person of some sort. So it's not going to change it to a robot. Let's see, how about a wool man holding a dog? Will that change him into a wool man? Yeah. See, it's still got the nose and the ears. Ear. You can play with this setting. So this is what I've been doing here recently, and it's been fun. Let's see. Let's try doing a depth. I'm not totally sure about the difference in the depth, less res, more res, and zo, but it's going to give it a different type of constraint. So let's run that. 40 steps. And you can choose different sampling methods. Sampling methods is how it sees the pictures and the static. And sampling, I guess this is sort of like music sampling. You know, where musicians will take bits and pieces of other songs and make them into different sounds. That's sort of like what the computer's doing here, except it's using pictures instead of audio. And see, this used a depth map instead of a of line art. The dog has an extra tongue there and has a really fancy collar. Something's going wrong with his paw. So, that's all right. Well, let's try a different one. Because there's another really neat one. Let's see, pose. Because there is a pose thing. Let's see. Where's a good pose? All these people just standing. That person. Yeah, here's a lady striking a pose. That particular pose. And we want to set this to open pose. Open pose is a really neat one. And you can do open pose just the face only, the full one that's specifically designed for hands. We're just going to do a full open face. And you can do lots more with all this, but I'm just dragging and dropping. This is a quick one. Let's see here. What do we want to have? That's a lady holding that kind of pose. Let's see, Darth Vader. Let's see if it'll put Darth Vader in that pose. And it's doing its thing. Yeah, I have it up here. It's loading the configuration for the um the open pose. When you change something, it takes it a bit to figure out what's going on. So this is actually the well, it's running from a terminal. It's hosting its own server, and you access this by browser. At least when you have it locally installed. Well, if it's not locally installed, you access it by browser too. And there we have what it thinks Darth Vader is. So red glowing lights, and that's not a bad Darth Vader. And it tried to keep this pose. Notice their head got cut off because it likes the 5x12, and that's too tall. But it said, hey, those are some legs, and there's at least one arm. We don't know where the other arm is, and that's the head up there. And there is Darth Vader with that pose, legs spread apart and the arm to one side. Let's see if we can find a different pose, one um, that's more. How can I put that? More gonna fit in my picture better without editing. Ah, here, this guy. Let's not do Darth Vader. Let's do George Washington. All right. You have George Washington with his arms up like doing the chicken dance. And there's George Washington with his arms up, looking to the right. So you can have all types of cool control with this. And he has too many fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. That hand's good, but 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that hand's not quite so good. And he's looking. It's not a bad George Washington. Maybe a little more too pronounced jowl there. Okay, so let's see. What about Hey, here's a guy just sitting on a stump. George Washington sitting. No, no, no. How about Henry VIII sitting on a. It's probably going to crop the wrong way in it. That's too tall. Well, it tried. Oh, oh, it moved his hands. Did you see that? That one was out like this, but then it slung it back in the next iteration. That's what the sampling steps were. Okay. Oh, come on. You doing all right? Yeah, this is doing all right. Huh. And it might not be doing as all right as I thought it should be. All right, I guess it hung. It's like I, let's reload it. Ah, yes, it did. Here, let me pull that up there. There is Henry VIII sitting on a fancy throne, and it kept one arm in, and it slung the other arm on the inside. So, uh, I've been having fun with this, and I think recording and doing these generations on the same machine is making it cranky. So I think we're gonna cut it there because why not? Well, why? Ah, well, no, why is because the software is starting to get cranky. So I have been JW608. This has been Stable Diffusion. It's just been something I've been tinkering with, playing with a little. Um, there's a link down in the description to the Discord if you want to share your own Stable Diffusion stuff. Go ahead. We should probably make like a. Well, if I have interest in it, I'll make a channel on my Discord. If there's no interest, I still might make a channel. I don't know. Anywho, I have been JW608. This has been Stable Diffusion, and I will dig you cats later.